Direct Access to Achievement, the Oregon Data Project, an initiative of the Oregon Department of Education. The Oregon Data Project, Region 4, Douglas ESD, South Coast ESD, Southern Oregon ESD. High school data teams, a focus on data teams in small high schools. Small high schools have unique characteristics that challenge them in forming data teams, and that there's only one reading teacher, there's only one math teacher, science teacher, and they have to redefine how to put together a data team. The other restriction that high schools have in general is scheduling. There's no common prep times, so you have to be creative in how you're going to schedule your data team meetings. Small high schools have the opportunity to design data teams to fit their needs. They have cross-curricular content teachers working together, either looking at individual or group student needs or looking at instructional practice.
Well, one of the things in a small school, because we only have 13 teachers on staff, one of the things that we're really working on is trying to get cross-curricular work done. So by doing it in a reading team, a writing team, and a math team instead of by subject area, then we get perspectives from all scopes of the curriculum, and it allows everyone to actually have buy-in to what we're doing.
The benefits of working on a cross-curricular team for our data team is really that we can see what each other are doing in each other's classrooms. What the English department is doing might be very different than what health or art is able to do as far as reading, and we can pull all those strengths together and use those in our own classrooms to help make instruction better for those students.
Secondly, it lends themselves to be content area specific. They can look at reading, they can look at math, they can look at writing. When teachers sit down, they need to have a purpose for why these content areas can come together and meet.
It did provide us with an outline of the process that we were going to take in order to reach the goal that we established. Of course, first, collecting the data in order to know what we were looking at and where we wanted to go. Once we had the data, we had to establish a goal, and we did want to keep that goal relatively focused because we didn't want it to become overwhelming. So we established a single goal and began to look at the process where we could implement and improve the scores as such to reach that goal.
Finally, it creates an opportunity for students to learn. Teachers are looking at across content areas how to best improve instructional practice. And students, whether they're sitting in science, and language arts, and health and PE, have access to best in practice instruction that these teachers are examining, and therefore increasing their student achievement.
Our goals for the impact of our data team on student learning would be that as a whole school we're able to raise our students' comprehension in reading, we're able to improve how they utilize instruction in reading in the classrooms, and are able to overall boost state scores on those tests and get those students to where they need to be for graduation.
Our goal on paper, of course, is to raise the state scores in reading. Of course, we also want to help our students to become more successful. And of course, reading impacts the entire curriculum. Our hope is to provide ownership for every teacher on staff with this particular area, note-taking, reading as such, with their understanding that it's going to help all of our kids in all of our areas.
We're starting to see everybody on the staff get into it and say, yes, this is an important way of note-taking skills, for example, and we need to emphasize note-taking skills across the curriculum, which is going to help them be more proficient in all classes.
Small high school data teams can be organized in various different ways. With the new Oregon diploma and the implementation of essential skills, high schools have a reason and a need to get together and meet. No longer is English and reading instruction the sole responsibility of an English teacher. It's now the responsibility of all teachers in that school. There are some guiding questions to help you form data teams. First, you need to ask yourself, what's our goal? What's our purpose? Why are these data teams going to meet? What's our need? Look at your data and analyze the need of your school. Secondly, how do we want to increase student learning? Do we want to do it by specifically looking at a group of kids? Do we want to do it by looking at a content area? Do we want to do it by looking at an overarching instructional practice for reading or for writing? For example, implementing writing instruction across the curriculum. And finally, what's our staff? What are their strengths? How many staff do we have? And how can we divide that staff into data teams to work together to increase student achievement? Scheduling data meetings is a priority. The teams who sit down, put their schedule together for the year or 6 months and stick to it are the teams who are most successful. Also, the teams who are meeting at least twice a month have the opportunity to go deeper, go further, and see results faster than teams who are meeting less often. Again, you have to look at your resources and determine how to meet, when to meet, that works for the staff in that data team.
Meetings are scheduled on Friday because in the Oakland School District for the last 17 years we've been on a 4-day week. So what that does for us is we've lengthened out our school days from 8 to 3:50, so we have our Fridays, we have in-service Fridays. We don't have to try and jam in just after school meetings or before school meetings. We were able to do it on Friday and come in and sit for a good 1 to 2 hours. The first year, so last spring, we did some after-school time and that worked okay. When we first kind of got it going, and that's really what we needed to do to try and fit, and we had each team meet probably 3 to 4 times in the spring, and by doing that I think it allowed them to take some time on their own.
Small school data teams work and are effective because instruction is no longer the responsibility of a teacher in isolation. It's a group of teachers meeting, analyzing data, setting goals, implementing a best practice strategy, and foremost seeing if it worked. And if it did, why or why not, and how we're going to replicate this. High schools in Oregon are now charged with the task of implementing the Oregon Diploma and Essential Skills. The new Oregon Diploma has raised the bar for student learning in Oregon. Data teams are a way for schools to meet student needs in obtaining proficiency in reading, writing, and math.
This is not an English teacher's responsibility to get our reading and writing scores up. This isn't the math teacher's responsibility to get our math scores up. This is Oakland High School's responsibility to get our students more proficient.